It's one thing to lose someone you love. It's another to hear them sing about it years later. Like the pain was fresh, like you never really mattered, and that's exactly what fans believe just happened. In a move that set the internet on fire, Selena Gomez dropped a track so raw, so cutting. It has the whole timeline convinced it's aimed at Justin Bieber. The lyrics? Devastating. The energy? Unbothered, ruthless. Bilingual shade with a side of closure. Within hours, Jelena trended worldwide. Fans were spiraling. TikTok exploded. How does it feel to be forgotten? Isn't just a breakup ballad. It's a lyrical middle finger dressed as poetry. Some say it's revenge, others say it's finally closure. But one thing's clear, Justin was not ready. His reaction, cryptic posts, chaotic live streams, memes, that scream breakdown. And the fans, they're convinced this is the beginning of a musical war. Selena versus Justin, round who knows what. So is this Selena's final goodbye or Justin's latest spiral? Let's break it all down. Back in March 2025, Selena Gomez dropped a surprise collab album with her now fiancé Benny Blanco titled I Said I Love You First. The project instantly lit up streaming charts, but it was track 9, How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten, that sent the internet into a frenzy. Fans weren't just reacting, they were dissecting. Every lyric, every vocal inflection, the speculation. This wasn't just a love song, this was a surgical strike. From the haunting melody to the unapologetically savage lyrics, the track had Selena's fanbase, Selenators, convinced that this was a not-so-subtle letter to her infamous ex, Justin Bieber. The lines weren't just sharp, they were weaponized. You walked in, big grin, talking like we're friends. Honey, what were you thinking? Was the one that stopped people cold. TikTok creators were lip-syncing it with side-by-side edits of Justin at events, photos of him running into Selena, fans posting clips of old interviews, trying to connect the dots. And the chorus? You're so embarrassing. Go cry when no one's watching. I can't imagine it. How does it feel to be forgotten? That's not shade. That's the whole tree. The entire internet collapsed in unison. Tweets exploded. Theories multiplied. It wasn't just a breakup track. It was a spiritual exorcism wrapped in a 3-minute pop anthem. Selena, the unbothered queen, stayed quiet. But the fans weren't. Everyone was asking, if this isn't about Justin, why does it sound like a direct sequel to Lose You to Love Me? Why does it echo every emotional beat of their decade-long roller coaster? And perhaps most importantly, if Justin truly moved on, why does it look like this song broke him? Justin's response wasn't an official statement. It was a series of unfiltered, chaotic online moments that fans immediately labeled as a spiral. On March 30th, just one day after Selena's album dropped, Justin went live on Instagram. But instead of promoting anything or even speaking clearly, he just vibed in the studio. Eyes glassy, energy low, while emotional music played in the background. It felt unscripted, raw, like someone trying to process something in real time. Fans instantly noticed the emotional vibe and pointed out that 2 of the songs he played had major overlap with tracks linked to Selena. That same night, Justin Breaks Down started trending, not because of anything he said, but because of everything. He didn't. His silence, his body language, his mood. It told a story all by itself. Then came the memes. On April 3rd, Justin posted an image of Gollum from Lord of the Rings with the caption, "Girls on social media when they get engaged," which fans took as thinly veiled shade aimed directly at Selena and her new fiancé, Benny Blanco. The internet exploded. Some fans called it petty, others called it heartbreaking, but nearly everyone agreed it didn't look like a man who had fully moved on. Comment sections were a battlefield. He's been married for years and still posting. This? He needs help, not likes. This is classic crash-out behavior. The discourse wasn't just about the breakup anymore, it had become a public dissection of Bieber's emotional state. Selena, meanwhile, continued her promotional run unfazed. When asked about the speculation, she brushed it off with practiced, calm, insisting that the song wasn't about one person. It was about growth, change, shared history. But no matter what she said, the fans weren't buying it. Every lyric was being held under a microscope. Every post from Justin was being reinterpreted in light of the album. The situation had officially shifted from speculation to obsession. And suddenly, what looked like closure was starting to feel like the opening act of something much, much bigger. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to go back to the beginning of Jelena. It wasn't just a teenage love story, it was a cultural phenomenon. They weren't just dating, they were defining an era. From innocent IHOP dates to yacht kisses that broke the internet, Justin and Selena weren't just a couple. They were the internet's obsession, the fans' fantasy, and the media's favorite fixation. Every high was public, every low even more so. They broke up, got back together. Rinse, repeat. Each time, the world watched. Each time they made music that turned their pain into platinum. Selena's The Heart Wants What It Wants. Justin's Sorry, it was never just entertainment, it was emotional currency for a generation that grew up with them. So when Selena sings, "How does it feel to be forgotten?" it doesn't land like a random lyric. It lands like a verdict. A final word from someone who for years was seen as the girl who never truly let go. It flips the entire narrative on its head. Suddenly, she's not the one mourning what could have been. She's the one who outgrew it, outshone it, and walked away with her head high. And that's what's breaking the internet. Not just the drama, but the emotional role reversal. The girl who once waited for apologies is now delivering closure. And the boy who once had every camera, every crowd, every chart in the palm of his hand, he's on Instagram posting cryptic memes, looking like he never expected to be the one left behind. It's brutal, it's poetic. And for fans still holding on to the ashes of Jelena, it's the end of an era they never imagined would end this way. Their story begins in 2009, two teenage stars on the rise, brought together by fame and, some would argue, fate. Justin, just 15 at the time, had already confessed to having a massive crush on Selena in interviews. Their managers arranged an innocent introduction, but from that moment on, the seeds of something bigger were already being planted. By 2010, whispers were growing. IHOP brunches turned into hand-holding sightings. "We're just friends," Selena claimed in interviews, trying to deflect the heat. But fans knew. You could see it in the way they looked at each other, even when they pretended not to. Then came New Year's Eve 2011, when paparazzi photos leaked of them kissing on a yacht in St. Lucia. Just like that, Jelena went from rumor to reality. Within months, they became the most watched celebrity couple in the world. And it wasn't just the public that was obsessed. Justin was too. In September 2011, he pulled one of the most iconic boyfriend flexes of all time, renting out the entire Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena, for a private Titanic movie screening with Selena. Teenagers playing house in front of millions. Every red carpet moment, every kiss, every matching outfit was turned into a headline, a Tumblr gift set, a fanfic. But behind the fairy tale glow, cracks were already forming. The pressure of fame, the weight of fan expectations, the vicious hate Selena received from die-hard Bieber stans. By 2012, the cracks had become fractures. They were fighting, splitting, reuniting. The emotional yo-yo became the norm. One moment they were soulmates, the next they were strangers in the same photo. And through it all, their love lived inside. Their music, bleeding into lyrics, bleeding into us. It wasn't just a relationship, it was a soundtrack to a decade. By late 2012, the fantasy started to fall apart. Their schedules clashed, their fame intensified, and their connection, once magnetic, turned volatile. In November of that year, Selena reportedly called it quits for the first time. Insiders said it wasn't just about distance or time, it was about trust. The public breakup kicked off what fans now call the dark years. The Jelena saga didn't end there, it just mutated. For the next 6 years, Justin and Selena would become the definition of on again, off again. One week they were holding hands in public, the next they were unfollowing each other online. Every interaction, every unfollow, every cryptic lyric. They weren't just living their lives, they were feeding a cultural obsession, and it was never quiet. Every split spawned 1,000 think pieces. Every reunion broke Twitter, but with every return, they seemed a little more fractured. In 2014, Selena released The Heart Wants What It Wants, confirming it was about Justin. The vulnerability in Mimantinatska, that song, the rawness made it clear. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was heartbreak in real time. Meanwhile, Justin spiraled. Between legal issues, emotional instability, and questionable behavior, his image took a hit. Even his manager, Scooter, Braun later admitted he feared for Justin's life at one point. And through all of this, Selena watched, sometimes from a distance, sometimes from the center of the chaos. By 2015, Justin tried to rebrand himself with the album Purpose, a redemption arc in the making. And yes, many of those songs were about her. Sorry, what do you mean? Mark my words, each one a confession, an apology, a longing. Fans didn't just listen, they relived. But it wasn't enough to heal what had already been shattered. Love had turned to confusion, confusion to resentment, and still, neither of them could fully let go. They weren't together, but they were never truly apart. In March 2018, after yet another attempt at reconciliation, Selena and Justin broke up, this time for good. There was no dramatic statement, no explosive fallout captured on camera, just silence. A haunting, empty kind of silence that hinted at something deeper, exhaustion. They had tried over and over and failed. But no one, not the media, not the fans, not even Selena herself, was prepared for what came next. Just 4 months later, Justin Bieber proposed to Hailey Baldwin. By September, they were married. No warning, no slow fade. Just a hard, clean break from the woman he had spent nearly a decade chasing, followed by a lightning-fast wedding to someone else. The internet imploded. For millions of fans who had grown up watching Justin and Selena's relationship unfold, this wasn't just a breakup, it was whiplash. The same man who once rented out an arena to woo Selena had now married someone else in what felt like emotional whiplash. And the timing? Devastating. Rumors circulated that Selena found out about the engagement through the media, with insiders claiming she was blindsided. Whether true or not, her next move said everything. In October 2019, she dropped Lose You to Love Me, a stripped-back piano ballad that cut through the noise like a razor. In 2 months, you replaced us like it was easy. That one lyric cracked the internet in half. It was heartbreak, yes, but it was also evolution. Selena wasn't crying in the rain. She was narrating the death of something sacred. And for the first time in their entire public history, she had the final word. Fans mourned. Others celebrated. But all agreed, this was the end of Jelena. What no one realized then, though, was that endings don't always stay buried, especially when the wounds never fully heal. After Lose You to Love Me, something shifted. Selena Gomez began to rebuild, not just her image, but her identity. Gone were the cryptic tweets and tabloid whispers. In their place, self-care, transparency, and emotional maturity. She became the face of mental health advocacy, launched Rare Beauty, and entered a soft, luminous phase that fans dubbed her healed era. Benny Blanco entered the picture in late 2023, and by December 2024, their engagement was official. For the first time in years, Selena wasn't being defined by what she had lost. She was being celebrated for what she had found: peace, stability, a real sense of home. Justin Bieber, meanwhile, was living a parallel yet deeply different journey. Married to Hailey, father to a baby boy named Jack by 2024, his posts shifted from tour announcements to spiritual quotes and family photos. Outwardly, he had settled into his husband and dad chapter, but inwardly, fans sensed unrest. His online behavior, random memes, erratic lives, cryptic captions, betrayed an emotional tension that never quite left. Every time Selena dropped a new project, a new lyric, a new romantic photo with Benny, Justin's digital presence seemed to flicker, as if some part of him was still watching, still reacting. And that's what made the emotional stakes so high, because even though both of them had moved on, publicly, romantically, even musically, the ghost still lingered. Every new song was interpreted as a message. Every social media post became a puzzle. And with How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten, it felt like Selena had finally buried the past, while Justin might still be standing at the grave. As soon as Selena's track How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten hit streaming platforms, the internet became a war zone of fan theories. TikTok turned into a digital crime scene, with creators acting like detectives, zooming into old clips, syncing Justin's old lyrics with Selena's new ones, and drawing arrows between timelines, facial expressions, and word choices. One viral TikTok played the infamous lyric, "Look at you, just look at you now," over footage of Justin performing alone under cold blue lights. The caption, "This man is haunted. Don't toast me? Comments flooded in by the thousands. She ended him without even saying his name. This is spiritual violence. The vibe wasn't just speculation, it was conviction, and the theories didn't stop there. Some fans went so far as to suggest that Justin was planning a musical clapback. In January 2025, just weeks before Selena's album dropped, Justin had teased an unreleased snippet on Instagram. Moody visuals, cryptic emojis, and lyrics about betrayal, survival, and being misunderstood. The timing now seemed too perfect to be a coincidence. Was this just a general re-entry into music, or was he already preparing his answer to a song that hadn't even been released yet? Adding fuel to the fire, producer MKG mentioned in a late 2024 interview that he'd been in the studio with Justin, working on something personal, emotional, and nothing like what people expect. That one line sent Stan Twitter into cardiac arrest. Some claimed it meant a Bieber redemption album. Others insisted it was code for a Selena response track. Either way, the internet had its knives out, and both fandoms were sharpening them daily. Whether this is setting the stage for a pop culture clash or just another round of overanalysis, one thing is certain: this story refuses to die. And every time a lyric drops or a post goes up, it gets resurrected all over again. While Selena and Justin's emotional tug-of-war dominated headlines, Hailey Bieber found herself back in the crossfire. Again. For years, she'd tried to stay above the chaos. She rarely addressed the rumors, ignored the shade, and projected calm. But in early 2025, something snapped. Following the release of Selena's new album and the internet's meltdown over how does it feel to be forgotten, Hailey's silence broke. Whispers of legal action began to swirl. Sources close to her claimed she was finally ready to push back, not just against the narrative, but against the fan base that's kept her in a constant state of digital war. Her frustration, long simmering beneath the surface, had reached a boiling point. She allegedly began consulting with high-powered defamation attorneys, including Lisa Moore, the same lawyer who helped Cardi B win a landmark case against a YouTuber for spreading false rumors. If Hailey proceeds, this wouldn't just be a defense of her name, it would be a message to an entire culture of online toxicity. A warning shot to trolls, bloggers, and fans who treat real people like fictional villains in a never-ending soap opera. Because to Hailey, this isn't about music. It's about survival. It's about being vilified by association, married to a man with an unfinished past, and constantly compared to the woman who came before her. And while Selena insists, her lyrics aren't aimed at anyone specific. The timing, tone, and fan interpretations make that nearly impossible to control. Every cryptic lyric becomes a dagger pointed in Hailey's direction. Every TikTok edit becomes a trigger. And the pressure? Immense. Some say she's told Justin she wants him to release his own music, not just for the fans, but to reclaim the narrative, to speak, to fight back. Because right now it feels like the world is spinning out of control around her, and she's done being the silent collateral damage in someone else's heartbreak story. At this point, it's no longer just about Selena, Justin, or Hailey. It's about the machinery around them. The fan wars, the media cycles, the way every emotion gets monetized, every lyric gets weaponized. What started as a celebrity love, Triangle has mutated into a cultural saga, played out in real time by millions of strangers who feel personally invested in people they've never met. And the truth is, none of them are really in control anymore. Selena can say the album isn't about Justin. Hailey can threaten legal action. Justin can post Bible verses or moody selfies. But once the content is out there, the interpretation belongs to the public. The media feeds the chaos because it sells. Fan pages on TikTok break down facial expressions like FBI agents. Reddit threads dissect timelines down to the hour. YouTube channels monetize every rumor, every eyebrow raise, every Instagram unfollow. And because all three of them, Selena, Justin, and Hailey, have shared so much of their lives, willingly or not, the audience feels entitled to keep reading into everything. It's no longer about facts, it's about feelings. And those feelings are louder than truth. Even more haunting is the reality that this narrative keeps going because people need it to. For fans of Jelena, the breakup wasn't just emotional, it was personal. For people who saw themselves in Selena's heartbreak or Justin's breakdown, this story became symbolic. And now, every time a lyric drops or a caption feels off, it's like reopening an old wound. Not just theirs, but ours. The parasocial attachment is so deep, so sticky that the past feels like the present. It's no longer what happened, it's what keeps happening. And so, the question lingers. Is this really about them anymore? Or have we, the public, hijacked their story and turned it into something none of them can escape? The emotional toll of this never-ending narrative isn't just tabloid fodder. It's personal, raw, and often invisible. Selena Gomez has been open about her struggles with mental health, anxiety, and the pressure of being dissected by strangers since she was a teenager. Justin Bieber has publicly admitted to dealing with depression, substance abuse, and feeling lost under the weight of fame. And Hailey, despite projecting composure, has hinted at the exhaustion that comes from constantly being reduced to someone's wife or someone's rival, never just herself. Each of them, in their own way, has tried to step out of the storm. Selena found peace in therapy, advocacy, and creating music that isn't just about heartbreak, but healing. Justin leaned into faith and family, trying to rebuild a life not built on paparazzi photos and performance, but on purpose. And Hailey, though often painted as an outsider in a story she didn't start, has tried to define her own lane, launching businesses, attending therapy, and building a marriage in the eye of a cultural hurricane. But despite their efforts, the ghost of Jelena won't rest. Every few months, something reignites it. A lyric, a live stream, a look at an award show. And when it does, all the progress, all the healing, gets dragged back into public scrutiny. It's re-traumatization disguised as entertainment. For the fans, it's nostalgia. For the media, it's engagement. But for them, it's exhaustion. The cycle never really ends. It just pauses, waiting for the next spark to set it all off again. So when we ask, why won't they just move on? Maybe the better question is, will we ever let them? The truth is, we're not just watching. The Selena Justin Hailey saga, we're in it. This isn't just a love triangle anymore. It's a mirror, a reflection of the way we consume heartbreak, project our wounds onto strangers, and turn private pain into public entertainment. Because deep down, we don't just care about who said what or who unfollowed whom. We care because we see pieces of ourselves in all of them. The girl who gave too much and got left behind, the boy who couldn't grow fast enough, the woman who stepped into a relationship that still had ghosts living inside it. We dissect their lyrics because we wish we could write our own closure so perfectly. We decode Instagram captions because we've lived those silent wars, those emotional subtweets. And every time one of them drops a song, a post, a statement, it hits like it's about us. That's why we can't let it go. Because letting it go would mean facing the parts of ourselves that still hurt, that still haven't healed, that still wonder if closure will ever come. The Selena Justin Hailey story has become our collective diary. Messy, painful, unfinished. We've turned it into chapters and timelines, reaction videos, and trending hashtags. We've made it content. But in doing so, we've blurred the line between audience and participant. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real reason why no matter how many years pass, how many albums drop, or how many marriages are built, we still care, because when their story ends, we're forced to look at our own. And some part of us isn't ready for that yet, so where does it end? Does it ever? Maybe the better question is, should it? Because what we're watching isn't just the fallout of a decade-long relationship. It's the mythology of modern love. It's what happens when heartbreak becomes spectacle, when memories become content, and when healing happens under a spotlight too bright to ignore. For Selena, this may have been her final message. For Justin, maybe it was his last breaking point. And for Hailey, maybe this is where silence becomes strength or strategy. But what if this isn't about them anymore? What if this has always been about us? Our obsession with unfinished stories, our craving for emotional resolution we can't get in real life, our need to see someone fall apart, just so we can feel less alone in our own unraveling. Maybe that's why we never stop watching, because deep down, we're not just looking for gossip. We're looking for reflection, for meaning, for closure. And maybe that's the real heartbreak here, that we keep turning the page, hoping the next chapter will finally let us forget what we couldn't let go of. So tell me, how does it feel to be forgotten? Or worse, how does it feel to be remembered? For the wrong version of you,